First thing I really encourage is conversations. Um, so often, you might see a requirements spec, or you might have someone, send you a link to an existing report. Where I really try and push is for people to actually have conversations with the people that plan to use the report. Um, that's the first step I always encourage. Just even getting some context and some basic information. And people don't come to you asking for a report unless they've got a problem or a opportunity that they want solved. So I try and understand that in the first instance, because I could turn around and build a report based exactly off what you drew in your picture, but it's not actually what you want. You can't get to the end if you don't know where the end is. What are they really looking for? Is sort of the first part that I do. Does that make
Is
sense?
there any kind of specific kind of questioning techniques? Yeah, I had an interesting conversation with somebody the other day who booked me for like a mentoring session, and they were like,
Mhm.
what are the questions you ask at the beginning of an engagement?
Um, Depends on who you're talking to. And I know
Mm.
everyone hates that it depends type
It's
situation.
always the
It's
answer. Yeah.
always the thing, isn't it? But I like to phrase it however I need to phrase it based on that person. But what is the opportunity or the pain point that you're trying to solve for? What are you actually trying to find out is sort of that's the underlying first question. Now I might not pose it exactly like that, because some people don't like that.
Mm.
Um, the one that came up the other day, which I thought was really quite helpful, is pretty much every system that we use, pretty much every, whether it's a website, whether it's an app, whether it's an enterprise application, it has side effects. So some people call them pain points, some people call them challenges, some people call them extra things that it does that I didn't know that it did, or that it doesn't do that I didn't know that it didn't do. So, what are the side effects of the system that you have at the moment, or the reports that you have at the moment that you want to address? Reduce, remove, enhance. Some side effects are good. Um, so, what are you actually trying to solve for here? Um, is sort of, you know, where I kind of start, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess I'm similar. I'm looking for these challenges, right? And so when I
Challenges
start
and
it,
opportunities.
yeah, and honestly, that's just another way of calling it. Like they're just two words for the same thing, aren't they? Where it's
Yeah.
like opportunities for improvement or whatever.
Depends on if you're
Um,
talking to a really positive person or a really negative
yeah,
person.
negative. Yeah. So I'm trying to understand the process, and because it's so much of it is about what we're really doing in reporting is providing this kind of like capturing telemetry over a business process and then reporting back over that process to of how that process is performing in a lot of ways, right? And so that tell me a little bit about your process that people are normally pretty comfortable with that, and they kind of gets them talking, and then you're asking them, okay, so where do you think the challenges are here? What are your top two or three kind of challenges in this process? Where are the pain points? Where are the opportunities? Those types of questions are really great to kind of get people talking about this initial piece.
Most definitely. And I try and encourage, especially if they're end users, like business type customers,
Hmm.
not necessarily, BI developers. Talk to me in the language that you use within the business. Um,
Yeah.
don't explain your problem as our users log on to the website and they enter their details and they fill in this form, and I want to analyze the information that comes through on the form. I want them to talk. I want the end users to tell me our users log onto the website and they provide us information about the experience they had at a particular event, for example, or
Mm.
whatever the business context is. I
Yeah.
want to hear about their challenges as a business problem, not as a technical problem. Because if it's a technical problem, they've kind of gone into solution mode, and that's not a good place for your business users to go. That's what you're for. But get them
Mm.
to talk to you in their business language.
Yeah, I think that that idea that you should spend as much time as possible in that problem space is so important, particularly for, as reporting gets more complex and as people are sort of, as you're trying to solve difficult issues, the more you understand about the problem, the more likely it is that your solution in the end is going to actually meet all of the kind of nuances of that problem. And I think that's something that I see a lot of people make mistakes in, is that they very quickly jump to an assumption that their solution is going to work, and they start going down that path, and then they realize there's all this extra complexity around the thing they're trying to solve.
Definitely. Yeah. So yeah, I get them to explain their processes, explain what they're trying to achieve, what their challenges are. Um, and then, yeah, like I said, look into what opportunity, how we can enhance the process they already have, how we can report on that to help them understand it more or track a change or plan a future change. So what are you actually trying to achieve out of the report? Very few users get much out of a, a report that just looks at the past. We want to start to understand what they want to do with the data
Yeah.
that we're going to report on. We can give them a great snapshot of what the world looked like a week ago, but is that going to change your behavior? Is that going to change how they run a particular system? Is that going to change the item that they put on sale next week? Is that going to move people out of the mailing list because there's no point marketing to them anymore? Like, what is the action that you're actually looking to take from this? And sometimes they don't know, but at least I like to understand that they don't know.
Hmm. Yeah. But it's an interesting thing, isn't it? Is like when you start talking to them in that context of saying, well, what is the action we're going to take out? And even if you look at a sample report, and like we'll bring up some sample reports soon, and we can this is a little question we can ask ourselves, is that so often it's not clear what action you should take. If you put yourself in the shoes of the person who's reading the report, so often it's not clear what action you should take as a result of looking at all of these numbers, right? And people just shotgun a bunch of visuals onto a page, but what does that really mean? And then where's the signal in that, you know?